What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to this week's episode of the Autopsy, where we dissect the gaming news of the week. And for this week, we're talking the Elder Scrolls Online, more about The Division, and lastly, Origin Access. Now, let's jump in right from the top. Elder Scrolls Online. They released their yearly update for 2016 and all of the things we can look forward to and expect them to implement in the game for this year. They specifically mentioned that the Thieves Guild would be coming in Q1, the Dark Brotherhood would be coming in Q2, and they were going to introduce other changes with a focus on the social aspects of the game, including, but not limited to, a looking for guilds system, an improved group finder, nameplates, scrolling combat text, things like that, just to make it easier to group. They are, for instance, adding the level scaling to all future DLC, just trying to get players interacting with each other more and making that easier to do and facilitate. And while I did make a video on the full list, which you can go check out if you like, I just thought it was worth mentioning in this week's episode, and I will post a link to the specific article below. Now, moving on to The Division. I mentioned this, I also made a video about it, but they've been axing features from the game before it's released yet. First up on the chopping block were the Brooklyn area, which has been seen in the game that they've released so far, which would lead one to believe that it's DLC. And nobody likes prepped DLC before a game launches. They just don't. It's in bad taste. And to see it, I mean, I'm not surprised from a developer like Ubisoft, if we're being honest, but still, you never want to see that. It makes it feel like there was time spent production-wise that could have been spent on the entirety of the game, and that you're just trying to make even more money. And while that is, of course, the end goal for a developer, it just seems like sketchy, you know what I mean? But, other than that, I also wanted to mention that the beta does officially start on January 29th, that I will be in it, and that I will definitely be covering it. I'm hoping to do some streaming as well as making some videos about different game systems in the beta. That said, as close as this beta is to the actual launch of the game, I'd say this beta is specifically more geared towards just getting the game out there and getting it to people for them to see. And less to do with actually testing. I'd say the only thing they're probably testing at this point is server stability. Now, lastly, that brings us to Origin Access. Origin, the online gaming platform, recently released this deal where you could spend $5 a month for access to a vault of games. They said it would include more than a dozen titles all at once. You could just play them whenever you want, as well as early access to titles they haven't released yet, so you would be able to jump in and play those games before anyone else, and a 10% discount on any purchase from Origin on any full game title. Now, it's not a bad way to go for PC gaming, especially for only $5, but I would argue that any game I want to play like that, I probably already own, and I don't really want a vault full of games I'm not interested in playing. But that's just me personally. There are definitely going to be people who are more than excited about that, so that's why I'm telling you guys about it. I do think it's a good deal nonetheless. And with that, guys, we've wrapped up this week's episode of the Autopsy. We've definitely dissected this week's gaming news. I hope you enjoyed it. So, lastly, this has been Mortym. If you enjoyed the content, please subscribe. I'm always looking to grow and get more viewers so I can do this more often and kind of transition it into my full-time job. But I hope you enjoyed the content either way. But even if you don't subscribe, have a great day.